schools. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that that just does not allow for science labs to be taught as frequently as we think that they should be taught. So in the new design, we would go from 2 science labs to 6 very large science labs, which is a significant increase for us. And it's my belief, and I think it's shared by others, that in doing so, we would be able to offer our students many more lab-based science lessons than they are able to do right now. Fortunately, we have a very good staff that does their best to juggle their classroom use, but it's just not the best situation. I certainly don't think it's what we would want for our students on a long-term basis. Right now, we're making it work, but it's, as we add science classes, and part of my other presentation tonight is going to be about proposing new courses to run here at the high school next year. As we've added science classes over the years, which I think we need to do in order to help our students remain competitive, you need to have the facilities and the space to be able to do that. And right now, that's not practical. I think another point to be made on this slide is the science labs that we do have are very small. This is a picture of an existing lab at about 822 square feet. The design of the new 6 new science labs would be not quite double, but pretty darn close to that at 1,440 square feet. The same thing goes for classrooms. Right now, when the high school underwent a renovation in the late 1980s, early 1990s, there were some pretty good-sized classrooms that were divided in order to make them into 2 classrooms. But consequently, what happened is some of those classrooms became very, very small, and to the point where some of them are about 634 square feet, and they max out at about 750 square feet. This is a representation of what we would gain in the new classroom spaces. They would be enlarged to average square footage of 850 square feet. So, you will see here on a daily basis students, sometimes 26, 28 students in an undersized classroom just is not a good situation. They're literally on top of each other, and teachers are navigating around the students. I mean, it's not the best situation that we hope for. The Library Media Center, an awful lot of attention has been given to this space just because of the nature of what needs to take place in a contemporary library media center, and I think Mrs. O'Connell would agree. We're very excited about what this space will afford all of the students, grades 6 through 12. It just has the potential to be a very bright, technologically advanced, spacious area, right near the main entrance of the high school. It looks nice. It affords very good educational opportunities. It is really, as the whole building really is, state of the art. This slide is intended to show you what a layout would be. If you're kind of looking at it, if you remove the roof of a high school classroom area, what would it look like? These are some exterior classrooms. This is an exterior wall here. You might remember a moment ago I mentioned about a breakout space. We see these kind of, they're really not defined by walls necessarily. These are like knee walls, if you will. They define the space, but they don't limit it to a use of a classroom. It has a much more open feel to it. So, our vision is that, as I said a moment ago, we would be sending groups of students out here to kind of collaborate with each other, come back to the class. It could be a situation where a portion of a class is actually taught here in more of a roundtable kind of discussion setting. This area is intended to show kind of a teacher collaboration space where teachers would, these would be their teacher almost office spaces, if you will, because classrooms are going to be very flexible in that they'll have many uses to them. So we still need a home base for teachers, and that's what that common area would be. Again, just a different representation of a classroom. You kind of just see that it doesn't appear to have the kind of congestion that we sometimes see in our classrooms. Just a nice exterior. We're taking advantage of the exterior wall with some nice natural lighting. This is one of those kind of a cross-section of a 1,440 square foot science lab. You can see that this is more, because it's such a large space, it's multi-use, if you will. This is a kind of a lab setting, if you will. You'll be able to conduct the actual science lab, but it also just, it's a short walk through the adjoining corridor to get into the lecture portion of the class. it may not be in a 78-minute class that we have, but the entire 78 minutes is laboratory work. It could be a combination of lecture and lab, and this large space allows us to be able to do that. And again, there would be 6 of these spaces throughout the high school wing. This slide isn't the best quality, but I think for any of you who have ever been in the high school auditorium, that could be a blank slide. And you could use your imagination to say, no, it's got to be better than what we have. We're at a point now, and as you all know, I think the high school auditorium is really a community use space too. Town meeting and a whole host of other large group needs. And we're at a point now where it's undersized, ability to hold about an audience of 440 students. This one here would be just over 650. It's designed more acoustically sound. It affords, really, I would not refer to this space in the new building as the auditorium. This really is a performing arts center. I mean, it just, from what it would have in terms of its acoustical design, its sound system, and just the whole appearance of the building, of the space, would be far more advanced than a standard auditorium would be. The truth of the matter is, in the existing auditorium right now, we have seats that have been broken, and they remain broken because we just cannot get parts for them anymore, because they're literally 60-year-old seats. So we live with the broken seats, unfortunately. Okay, this gets a little, Janine, I think I'm turning this portion over to you.
Janine Imbriano is a member of the Secondary School Building Committee. She has worked tirelessly not only in trying to put this project together, but also in promoting this project. So Janine's going to give us a nice view of the proposed building.
All right, this is designed to be a 360-degree view, but before I start, I would like to point out, if you can see these window top areas, they're defined as a clear story. They're above the high school academic area. They're in the stairwell tower, above classrooms, above what would be the gymnasium, the cafeteria. As you fly by, you'll see them, and I just want to point that out because this allows a lot of natural light to come into the school, the core share facilities in the middle school as well. And this is one of the things that leads us to being a green school, to be LEED certified. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so that portion right here was the academic high school, and if you look right between these two, this would be the auditorium and the high school. You see that there's a lot of ability to have natural light come in. This area right there, as we pass by, was actually where the band and chorus room is. This would be the gymnasium here, and once again you see a lot of the clear story, allowing a lot of natural light to come through. This would be what's referred to as the main street, the corridor that leads down through the gymnasium, cafeteria, and media library. This right there, that is the second story where the 6th grade is currently housed as a school within a school. And right here, once again, that clear story, that is where the current gymnasium in the middle school is. That would be changed into what would become the science area, and once again, all of that natural light coming through. This would be the new district office, and it will come back around to the front to show you kind of an overview. Right here is the existing middle school, and the facade would change on the front to allow more natural light to come in. And once again, that would be the science area for the middle school. This would be the middle school entrance, and here again is the second story of the middle school with a lot of natural light coming through. This would be the high school entrance. And a joke was made earlier that there must be a fire drill, that's why all the kids are out front. Okay, this would be the administration, and back to the media library, and once again to the administration. Sorry, keep saying administration. the high school academically. And Mr. Bernard had pointed out earlier, this beautiful window right here would be the distance learning lab of the high school. All right. And this would essentially be the view that you would see from like the Batchelder School, looking up. And this would be the entrance of, like if you were coming to drop your child off, the parent drop off, the middle school entrance, once again, is right here, and the high school entrance is right here. This would be the entrance that you would see from what was referred to as the Main Street, where the large parking lot is behind the school. If you were to come to like a basketball game or a theater performance, you would enter through this entrance. And I will turn this over to Jerry.
Okay. I'm sure you're all interested in the cost of the project, and we can give you a little bit more of an exact figure now. The cost of the project is $107,723,000. Now, North Reading does not have to pay that entire cost. We have partnered up with the Mass School Building Authority, and they are going to reimburse us approximately 51.44% of about $95 million of that $107 million. So the projected reimbursement from the state of Massachusetts is between $46 and $49 million for this project. The balance of those funds, $59 or $60 million, has to be raised by the town of North Reading. You can see that the estimated cost of the homeowner is going to be around $700 to $750 a year. That's based on an average home price of $450,000, so it could be more or less depending on how much your home is valued at. The increase, and I'm updating these numbers a little bit now, will be approximately 11%. Okay? The Board of Selectmen are the entity that's entrusted with two things. One, they have to schedule a town meeting and a special election so that we can try to get the funding from the town. And the second thing that they have to do is they have to determine how we're going to borrow this money. Right now, and this is not cast in stone, the selectmen are recommending or talking about a level funded bond over 25 years in order to pay the money back that we are going to borrow, that the town is going to borrow. The $49 million that we're going to get from the state of Massachusetts, we do not have to repay any of that money. The selectmen are talking about this schedule. We're looking, this is a big vote for us on January 25th. We're very confident that we're going to have a vote of approval on January 25th to allow us to go forward. That vote is coming from the Mass School Building Authority, who are now our partners in this project. The town meeting, right now we're discussing a town meeting sometime in March. That is going to be approximately March 19th. At that town meeting, we have to ask the members of town meeting, the members who show up, and we're hoping all of you will be there, to appropriate through a debt exclusion vote approximately $60 million. Once that's done, we're looking to have a special election on March 27th. And the purpose of that special election will be to give the entire, all the voters of North Reading the opportunity to vote as to whether or not they want to approve this project or not approve it. If they approve the project, we then go forward with a funding agreement that we sign with the Mass School Building Authority. Our architect, Brad Dorr, is here tonight if anyone has any questions, but our architect will then continue on and finish the design documents. We expect the high school construction, obviously, will take first. That's going to be up on the hill behind the existing high school, and we expect that to be completed by August of 2014. The middle school construction will then begin after that, and that's going to be a major renovation, renovating the entire middle school. That's going to take place between June of 2014 and August of 2015. And then the final part of the project will be the demolition of the existing high school. We're going to phase students. No students are going to have to be relocated any place. Once the high school is completed, the students in the existing high school will be moved into the new high school. The middle school students will be moved into the old high school. And then once the new middle school is renovated, they'll come back to the middle school, obviously from the old high school, and we'll demolish the old high school. So that's the schedule of events. It's ambitious, it's aggressive. We're convinced we can do it, and once we get that vote on January 25th, we'll begin, again, looking to the public at a town meeting and in a special election to appropriate the funds that we need to move forward into the 21st century with our North Reading school buildings. Okay? Anybody has any questions? Oh, I just want to remind you, thank you, Janine, Thank you, Mel. January 18th, we're having another public forum at 7 o'clock at the high school